Hey guys, here's what we're going to do next with our dumb model. So you remember from your book that they're talking about building a test set and a training set. So remember that the training set is a portion of the data that's used to build the model. And then the test set is used to test how well the model is doing. Okay, so we're going to do a very dumbed down version of that, a very simple version of that, and that is to take our data. So if you remember, here's the spreadsheet that we were working with last week, and I'm just literally going to get rid of our two columns here. Delete. Okay. Now we have our data, right? Here's the median income and the labels, right? The actual median house value. This is what we're trying to predict. And we talked a little bit at the end of class about how we could build, say, a linear regression, which just means fit a line to this. Because when we take a look at a scatter plot of this data, we see something that looks a little bit like this down here. I'm going to show you. There we go. Well, there it is. Okay. And I'm going to explain all this in a second, but I'm not going to do it with you. You're going to do it yourself. So this plot right here is only a plot for a portion of this data. Okay. So I plotted on a scatter plot. The median income, I didn't even multiply by 10,000. Just no need to do that. Median income on the x-axis and the actual labeled data on the y-axis, right? And I'm going to build my model, which just means get the trend line, okay? And then I'm going to use that model on another portion of the data, the rest of the data. Notice I've gone to about 377 points, right? There's one line of header at the top. So it's only 377 data points. So I'm only using 377 data points to make this linear regression. And now I have the equation up here, and that is my model that I'm going to apply to the rest of the data and see how well it does. And that's done down here. So for instance, my prediction for this first point, right? So let's look at the formula. I'm rounding it to 0 digits so that it doesn't have any decimal things after the decimal place. But what is it? Okay, well, it's the slope 39355 times x, which is this L359 right here, right? Plus the y-intercept, which is 47725 right here, okay? And again, I'm just rounding that. And that's my prediction. And you can see right here, it's pretty darn off for this particular point, right? So not so great. One of the things that we are doing wrong and you'll see, I want you to reproduce this, okay, on your own. I'm going to scroll all the way down and get my RMSE for this set, and it's off by like $88,000, okay? That's even worse than we did before with our dumb model, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so one of the things that we're doing wrong here is that I just took the first 378 points to make this regression, right? And although this data is not ordered, right? It's not like it's ordered in order of median price or income. Maybe there's some order to it that I don't see. And I'm picking out this test set by just using the first. I might be using a particularly ordered first 378. I really should be doing this randomly, but Excel, I'm sure there's a way to do it in Excel. But I wouldn't want to try that. What I'd like to do, right, what you really should do is take all of your data and randomly sample about 70% of that data and use that to make your linear regression, and then go to your test set, which is the rest of the data. So here, you can see here, this is the rest of the data. This is it would have gone right here at 379, okay? So this is the next point, and the rest of them all the way to 540. Then you test on that data. So this is what I want you to reproduce in our first, in the first part of this week's work. Reproduce this idea that you're going to take some 70% or 75%, whatever you'd like to do, Taking any less than 50 is probably not a good idea. It's usually most of the data. Um, use that to train your model, which means in this case, we're just doing a linear regression. If you'd like to do some more sophisticated model, help yourself. It looks pretty linear to me. So anyway, so you make a linear regression, then use that model on the rest of the data on the test set to see how well you did. Again, you can choose whatever section of the data you'd like to be your training set, and whatever section of the data to be the test set. It has to be a different section. So this is at your discretion. And then turn this file in when you're all done with that. Okay, that's your first thing to do this week.